Good morning. Happy Sunday. Have you missed me? I missed talking to you guys. So the Bucks won the world championship. Well, if that doesn't show you that anything is possible, then I don't know what does. And if that doesn't show you that one guy can make a difference, then I don't know what else does. So great time in Vegas. I wouldn't say it was 100% back, but it was certainly back, and there was certainly a lot of people. You know what I realized when I was there is, we haven't gone anywhere in 2 years, and how much fun it is to meet people and connect with people. I'm part of the latchkey generation, the X generation, and we are a very interactive generation. We didn't grow up watching a lot of TV. We grew up outside on our bikes and talking to each other. And the generation that we raised is a generation that communicates through a screen, and especially the generation after them, the millennials and the Z generation. They communicate through a screen, and it was so much fun for me to just go around and talk to people, to just meet people and say hi and interact and find out where they're from and find out about them. And in the generations below us, that's really a lost art because they haven't done that. We forget human beings are really designed to gather. We're designed to gather in groups. We're designed to gather in communities and tribes and whatever, but we're designed to come together in troops and in groups and to communicate in person. 93% of all of our communication is nonverbal. Only 7% of our communication do words matter. The rest of it is nonverbal communication, both physically, through for our physical body communicating, our voice tones. And the generations below us right now have lost that. They've lost that ability because they communicate through a screen. So they don't know how to communicate with each other. When I do these breakout sessions and my Tony Robbins stuff, anybody 35 and under, their number one fear is communicating in person, and not just public speaking. That's kind of been a number one fear of everybody forever, but just communicating in person, where I have to talk to somebody in person, and they all have tremendous anxiety over doing that. And I mean, if they're going to go to work for my generation, my generation wants to talk to you in person because that's all that we did. So my big picture for today is to just remember that there's going to be ramifications to that, to this generation not ever communicating in person, that all they communicate with is through a screen. Now, if you do it visually through a screen, now that's very helpful because then all the subtle cues that cause you to be able to communicate are going to be there, or a lot of them are going to be there. But if there's one thing that we can do for that generation is help them communicate in person. That's a skill that if you're in your late 40s or 50s or 60s, that you definitely have because you grew up having to be able to do that. And so that's something that can be passed on. If you think about it, the baby boomer generation had the X generation, my generation. And in one generation, we went from everybody's food being grown locally and sourced locally to processed food. In my generation is when processed food happened. That's when TV dinners happened and McDonald's. Moms were out working in the workforce. And so we went from all food being locally sourced and being natural to food being processed, and a generation growing up with processed food and unprocessed food. Boxed mac and cheese, McDonald's, all of this type of stuff. Well, what happened? Well, the next generation had massive food allergies and can't eat any of that stuff. So is there going to be a ramification to a generation that doesn't communicate face to face, that doesn't communicate physically? Sure. I have no idea what that ramification is going to be, but there definitely is going to be ramification because humans, since we've started, have communicated in person. And in one generation, we've all of a sudden stopped that, and all communication is through this screen. So the big picture is to remember we're supposed to talk in person. That's what we're designed to do. We are designed to pick up cues from people way outside of the words that they use. You know, if you've ever been around somebody and they said something, told you that they're going to do something, and you went, yeah, they're not going to do it. Somewhere in your subconscious, your body picked up little subtle cues from that person that told you they're not going to do what they say they're going to do. Their body was what we call incongruent. Their physical cues that they gave you didn't match the words that they were saying. And so you were able to pick up, they're not there. So that's gone when you're communicating through a screen. Now, again, if you're visually through the screen, you might be able to pick up on those same cues, and it might be different. But if you're not, it's just typing, just texting or emailing, you're going to lose all of that. That ability to communicate, which largely is just a degree of confidence, but there are skills attached to it, is a skill set that the next generation desperately wants and desperately needs. Because there will be a pendulum swing, there always is. There will be a pendulum swing away from communicating through the screen and back to communicating face-to-face in some fashion. Just hanging out with people showed me how much people want that. Now, this was all people my age or close to my age. But you could tell how much we missed being in each other's presence. When I would turn around and start talking to people, everybody wanted to talk to everybody. It was like I was in Chicago or Wisconsin where everybody's incredibly friendly. But it was, people were eager to say, hey, how you doing? Where are you from? Tell me what's going on. Because we've been isolated for so long. So big picture, we want to talk to each other, and we want to talk to each other face to face. We want to gather in groups. We want to get together and cheer and watch things and be part of a larger group that is active in some fashion. So if you want to help the next generation, if you've got a skill that you could utilize and help them with, we talked about if you're really good at one thing, you can monetize that. If you're comfortable speaking to people face to face, if you're comfortable giving a presentation, if you're comfortable talking to your boss face to face, then you have that skill. And it's a skill the next generation needs because that pendulum is definitely going to swing. That's my big picture for today. It's great to be back talking to you guys. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the heat. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you tomorrow.